The Sunday morning sun streamed through the wide glass windows of Maple Street Grocery, spilling golden light across the clean aisles. The air was filled with the comforting scent of freshly baked bread and the soft hum of jazz that floated from the speakers. Elderly couples shopped slowly, chatting softly, and parents pushed carts filled with cereal boxes and snacks. It was a peaceful morning, until she walked in. Mr. Thomas Green, a 72-year-old retired history teacher, was in his usual place near the dairy section. Dressed neatly in a tan cardigan and dark slacks, he studied the labels on milk cartons with the same focus he once gave to his students' essays. He had been coming to this store every Sunday for years. The staff knew him by name, always greeting him with warm smiles. He was gentle, polite, and patient, the kind of man who took his time and never complained. He was reaching for a carton of 2% milk when a sharp voice cut through the calm. "Can you move already? You're blocking the aisle." Startled, Mr. Green turned around, clutching the handle of his cart. Standing behind him was a woman in her 40s, with perfectly styled blonde hair, dark sunglasses, and a permanent scowl. Her name was Karen Mitchell, though everyone in town knew her type long before they learned her name. "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am," Mr. Green said softly, stepping aside. "Didn't realize you were waiting." Karen rolled her eyes dramatically. "Maybe try paying attention next time. Some of us don't have all day." A few customers nearby exchanged uneasy glances. Mr. Green smiled politely, hoping to diffuse the tension. "No harm done, ma'am. You go ahead." He turned his cart toward the fruit section, but he could feel her eyes burning into his back. As he picked up a few oranges, she followed, muttering just loud enough for others to hear. "Figures. These people never think anyone else matters." He paused. For a moment, he thought he'd misheard her. But the way others stiffened around them told him he hadn't. He tried to ignore it. He'd faced uglier words in his lifetime. He had talked through segregation, marched for civil rights, and believed the world had grown kinder since then. But sometimes, it felt like the past still echoed through people like her. Karen wasn't done. As Mr. Green lined up at the checkout, she pushed her cart roughly beside him. "Excuse me, you just cut in line," she shouted. He blinked, confused. "No, ma'am, I was standing here before." "You must've." "Don't lie to me," she snapped. "People like you always try to take advantage." The line went silent. The cashier froze. Even the hum of the refrigerator seemed to stop. A young store clerk named Maya, barely 20, stepped forward nervously. "Ma'am, please, there's no need for that tone." He didn't cut. "He's been waiting." Karen spun on her. "Stay out of this. You people always protect each other." "It's pathetic." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Someone began recording on their phone. Mr. Green stood still, his hands trembling slightly on the cart handle. "Please," he said quietly, "let's not make a scene." But it was too late. Karen shoved her cart into his leg. The impact made him stumble, grabbing the counter for balance. Maya rushed to his side. "Sir, are you okay?" "I'm fine," he whispered, though pain rippled through his knee. Karen folded her arms, sneering. "Oh, give me a break. He's pretending. Probably trying to get me arrested." Maya's voice shook, but she stood firm. "Ma'am, that's enough. You can't treat people like this." Karen took a step closer, her face twisted with rage. "You're all the same. Lazy, loud, and always playing the victim." A man in the back of the line called out, "Lady, you need to stop." Another woman lifted her phone. "Higher. It's all on video now." The color drained from Karen's face. "You can't film me. That's illegal." "No," the man said calmly. "Assaulting an old man is." Store security arrived moments later. "Ma'am, we're going to have to ask you to leave," the guard said. Karen crossed her arms. "I'm not going anywhere until this faker apologizes to me." "He doesn't owe you an apology," Maya said firmly. Karen turned to shout again, but before she could speak, she reached for his cane and slapped his hand away. That was the breaking point. The guards moved in, restraining her gently but decisively. Someone called the police. Mr. Green stood quietly, clutching his cane, trying to steady his breathing. When the officers arrived, Karen immediately started yelling. "He attacked me first. They're all lying." The store manager shook his head. "We have camera footage," he said. She followed him, insulted him, and shoved him twice. Karen went pale. "That's not what happened. I was defending myself." The officer gave her one long, unimpressed look. "Ma'am, you're under arrest for assault and disorderly conduct." "You can't arrest me. I pay taxes. I know the mayor," she screamed as they led her out. The crowd clapped quietly. Mr. Green didn't. He simply sighed and said softly, "I hope she learns something from this." That night, the videos hit social media. Within hours, millions had watched the clip titled, "Karen Attacks Senior Black Man at Grocery Store." Comments flooded in, some outraged, some supportive of Mr. Green, many condemning her behavior. The store issued a public statement apologizing to Mr. Green and praising the staff for their calm response. 2 days later, Karen was released on bail, though her reputation had already shattered. Reporters camped outside her home. Her job at the local school board suspended her pending review. Her friends avoided her calls. When her court date arrived, she sat stiffly in the defendant's chair, avoiding eye contact with the crowd behind her. The judge played the video on the courtroom screen. Every second of her rant filled the room with uncomfortable silence. Afterward, the judge sighed deeply. "Mrs. Mitchell, your behavior was appalling. This court will not tolerate racism or violence of any kind." He fined her $10,000 and sentenced her to 100 hours of community service at a senior center on the east side of town. Karen's lips trembled. "Your Honor, it's time you learned what respect looks like," the judge interrupted. "Maybe those seniors will teach you." 2 weeks later, Karen showed up at the Oakwood Senior Center in plain clothes, clutching a clipboard. She was assigned to serve lunch and clean tables. She kept her head down, avoiding conversation. On her third day, as she carried a tray of food to a corner table, she froze. Sitting there, smiling up at her, was Mr. Green. Her throat went dry. He smiled kindly. "Good afternoon, ma'am. Didn't expect to see you here." She hesitated, guilt washing over her. I didn't either." He nodded. "We all end up where we need to be." For a long moment, neither spoke. Then, in a voice barely above a whisper, she said, "I'm sorry. For everything." Mr. Green's eyes softened. "We all have things to learn, ma'am. The important part is that you're here now." As he reached for his lunch tray, she set it down carefully, avoiding his gaze. But when he thanked her with the same gentle tone he'd used that day in the store, something in her heart cracked open. For the first time in weeks, she smiled, a small, quiet smile that carried more truth than any words could.